From the mud to the rise, yeah, we built it on the grind. Trench talk, real talk, leave the fake ones behind. We don't fold, we don't break, every move we define. It's the code from the trenches where the real ones align.
Hey, check this out. You walking into court looking like you ready to do your time, but then, boom, you hit him with it. Bro, why my op here? I don't fuck with him on Neighborhood Crip. Hold up. The whole courtroom goes silent. They looking like, wait, did this man just say that in a federal courtroom? Yo, Luce Cannon's in there all wild and talking about, I ain't going to jail for that. I ain't going to jail for that. You know what he was thinking? I ain't going down for this. This ain't me. But they don't care. They got the receipts. They got your whole life laid out in front of them, but you still talking like it's all good? Nah, bro. Then you got the prosecutor just throwing all the dirt on you saying, yo, remember that time and this time right here? And Luce Cannon, he pulls the classic, I didn't do that, my brother did. Oh, so now we blaming the fam, huh? Damn, they're not buying it, homie. The judge, he's like, nah, we ain't giving you bail today. We're not buying the I was just misunderstood act. Not with that history you got. Fast forward to April 9th, 2025, Brick Baby and Luce Cannon both thinking they're finna get out. Brick Baby's mom even put up multi-millions in property, thinking that's gonna get him off. But guess what? Feds don't care about your stacks. They don't care about your property. If they want you, they're gonna get you, period. Bond hearing? Denied. Oh, you thought you was gonna walk out of here? Nah. Both got denied. Same reason. Too many strikes. That criminal record too long, too messy. And don't even get me started on that no jumper stunt. Brick Baby strolling in with a whole strap on his hip, like it's just another day at the office. You know security ain't missing that. You really out here flaunting a gun with all that heat on you? Look, this ain't no game. Luce Cannon walks in, sees his op, Eddie Boy, sitting in the court. And what does he do? Blast it in front of everybody. Why is Eddie Boy here? I don't fuck with him on Neighborhood Crip. Fam, you really saying that in the middle of a federal indictment? You're in there fighting for your freedom and still trying to flex like you're untouchable? That ain't gangster. That's a straight up crash course in self-sabotage. Man, y'all don't get it. This ain't the streets no more. You want to keep it real in the courtroom? Keep it real quiet. They ain't playing by street rules in there. It's all about silence and strategy. But Luce Cannon? Nah, he was out here acting like a walking TikTok video, all for the gram. Can't make this up, bro. This is the realest thing I've seen in a while. Luce Cannon sitting there, and they start bringing up his old charges. Criminal history so deep it's practically a novel. They're trying to paint him as a menace to society, a risk to everybody around him. What does Luce Cannon do? He's like, yo, I ain't going to jail for that. I ain't going to jail for that. The whole courtroom looking at him like, bro, we're talking about your entire rap sheet, and you're still acting like it's all a game? Then they hit him with the real bombshell. They start talking about crimes from his past, 40 plus charges. And you know what he says? Nah, that's not even me. That's my brother. Wait, hold up. His brother? Yeah, turns out Luce Cannon and his brother got the same name, same birthday, just one letter different. You couldn't make this up if you tried. His twin brothers out here catching cases, and they're over here thinking it's all Luce Cannon's doing. But listen, this is where it gets a little murky. Luce Cannon goes, yo, that's not me. That's my brother's stuff. Now 600's out here calling that snitching. But is it really? He's just saying, don't pin crimes on me that I didn't do. That's not snitching. That's clearing your name. If it was my twin brother's charges, I'd be doing the same thing. Yo, don't mix my mess with his. But 600's like, nah, you throwing your brother under the bus. But Luce Cannon's just trying to save his own skin, you feel me? Then out of nowhere, Eddie Boy strolls in. And what does Luce Cannon do? He sees his op in the building and says, why is Eddie Boy here? I don't fuck with him on Neighborhood Crip. Whoa, you really out here airing it out in front of the judge, your lawyers, your enemies, and the whole courtroom? Bruh, you in the middle of a federal gang indictment and you want to start a whole street beef on top of that? That's wild. Eddie Boy, the OG from the 60s, who's not even trying to get involved. And Luce Cannon, he just can't keep it cool. Then, out of nowhere, Eddie Boy gets questioned by the cops. They want to know if he's recording, because Luce Cannon's lawyer's like, yo, this guy's up to something. Eddie Boy's out here heated, talking about, I wish I could tell y'all what's really going down in here. Man, he's losing it. And what happens next? They escort Eddie Boy out of the courtroom like he's a problem. This ain't just a bond hearing, it's turning into a full-on circus. Now Luce Cannon's just sitting there like, yo, I'm just trying to get out of here. I didn't snitch. I didn't do any of that. But the damage is done. The courtroom already got their eyes on him. His twin brother's rap sheet got him caught up in the mix. He's throwing shots at Eddie Boy in front of everybody, and he's trying to act like none of it matters. But in that courtroom, everything matters. Luce Cannon's lawyer slides a note to the judge, real quiet like it's some covert mission. Judge gets the note, reads it, then says, "Yo, escort Eddie Boy out. Is he recording? We need to know." Eddie's out here trying to play it cool, but he's probably sweating bullets thinking, damn, they on to me. And sure enough, the judge gets the message. Eddie's not recording, at least not yet, but it's crazy that the word content even got dropped in the federal courtroom. Content? In the feds? Man, that's a whole nother level of chaos. But here's the kicker. They're still denying Luce Cannon bond. Why? Because they got his history, 40 plus charges, his rep as an enforcer, all that violent talk, and now they're using it all against him. You know the feds don't miss a beat, so they start pressing Eddie Boy about whether he wants to press charges on Luce Cannon for talking reckless about his family. Eddie's like, nah, I'm good. But still, the damage is done. Luce Cannon's mouth is moving so fast it's catching up with him, and it ain't pretty. They even talking about the fights he's supposedly been in, and guess what? Turns out, he's been lying about some of them fights. Ain't no footage, ain't no witnesses, and now they're using his own words to lock him up deeper. But let me tell you something. Luce Cannon's biggest enemy? Himself. This dude's a known liar, not just some little fib here and there, but he's out here weaving entire stories about being the toughest dude in prison, talking about fights that never happened, acts of violence he wasn't even part of. And guess what? The feds already got a statement from someone about a robbery Luce Cannon did. No footage, no nothing, until he opened his mouth on a podcast. Man, you do not want to talk about stuff you ain't got proof for. He thought he was just telling his street war stories, but nah, that's the stuff that gets you caught up in federal indictments. Now, here's the real kicker. Remember the fight outside No Jumper? Yeah, that one. They got the footage on that. Surveillance all day. Adam, being Adam, thought he was just doing business as usual, not knowing the feds were building a whole case off the content being dropped in that building. You think your little podcast is cute? Nah, it's the perfect trap for these dudes to hang themselves with. And now, Adam's out here acting all innocent, but when the feds come knocking, they know exactly what's up. You think you're doing content? Nah, you're building evidence for an investigation. And guess what? It ain't just Luce Cannon that's caught up in this. Whack 100? Yeah, you know him. Dude's been chilling with Luce Cannon, and everybody's side-eyeing him too. It's like this whole crew, Luce Cannon, Whack, Adam, all of them, are walking through a minefield and acting like they're just filming a documentary. But that content, it's all the feds need to piece together their case. So now, you gotta ask yourself, what's the real price of this content life? These cats thought they were hustling for the gram, for the tube, thinking they were just throwing up clips to keep the streets entertained. But the feds were watching every single second. You can't just talk about robberies, fight stories, and street beef on social media thinking it's all cool and casual. The internet, it's a permanent record. You're writing your own indictment every time you hit post. And the wildest part, all this chaos, all this beef, it's got Luce Cannon in the middle. He's being exposed left and right. Now everybody from the 60s is looking at him like, who the hell is this guy? They don't know him, they don't mess with him, and now they're coming for him. That's the streets. The same streets you claim to be from, they'll chew you up and spit you out if you're lying. This ain't no game, and if you think you're gonna talk your way out of this one, nah, the feds got your number. So, moral of the story, keep your mouth shut and your moves quiet. Life moves fast in the game, and in the streets, one slip up and they're coming for you. So pay attention, watch your back, and don't let content get you caught up.